I'm Brian Noel. I'm in a garage, obviously. I'm in a garage because I'm also a husband, a father, and an aspiring serial entrepreneur. It's late, my family's asleep, and I wanted to show you the garage before we get rid of this stuff, take it to Goodwill, and turn this area into a little studio. I'm excited to share with you the insights from this incredible interview, 3 of 4 with Jack Fussell, the man from the future. We're going to talk about writing yourself a new narrative. Maybe it's time for you to write a new narrative. We'll talk about that today.
The last few years has been, let's move there, see what's there. And then as we've been here longer, it's let's start rewriting our own narrative. Let's feed into that. Let's find new voices that support that. Let's speak into our kids' lives and encourage them to be curious and ask questions. And, even Tina and I in our own lives with each other, because she wasn't an entrepreneur either. It's very much been both of us speaking into each other, the books we read, the podcasts we listen to, the hanging out with cool people like you, meeting cool people like you, really saying, let's rewrite a narrative and change all the voices that are speaking into it to help us become the people we're actually created to be.
Well, and like you said, selecting the voices you're going to listen to. Because if you're an entrepreneur or you're just someone with a lot of ideas, your natural tendency is to just go out and share those ideas. And it's not, there's no way to completely change the voices that come to you, right? Or completely control that. But the ability to really define what voices you're going to listen to. You talked about different voices, different people. You're currently in a stage where you're learning a lot. You talked about, going up and down the East Coast, interviewing people, different business owners. Just you're in a season of learning and listening. The narrative that you're hearing and those that are investing in you and supporting you now versus years ago, when you were a evil dreamer and now you're an aspiring entrepreneur, how have those voices changed? And here's what I'm getting at. How do we know what people to get around us? What do those people look like? How are their narratives towards us as they support us different when we're truly being inspired by those around us?
Let me think of a good example without being too personal. I have a family member who my entire life has always said kind of this, just be grateful for everything you have. I know you don't really like your job, but you should be grateful for it because a lot of the country doesn't have jobs, and you deal with that over and over again. And so a lot of times that's what kind of kept my entrepreneurial restlessness kind of compacted down was I'm not being grateful for what I have. And I think one day the light clicked on because I saw their life and how they've been trapped for 20 something years, stuck, literally frozen in place, like stepping in tar, like can't move. And realizing it's their, if they would have jumped 19 years ago when it first got bad, they would have a life they're grateful for. 20 years of this, and now that, you should be grateful, has turned into a lot of bitterness. And so when you see a few examples of that in your life, you start to realize I can love a person, I can value them, I can want them to be part of my life, but I don't have to let them shape my narrative anymore because I don't see the life that they have, and I don't want that life. When I meet guys like you and I see you trying things, and I see, and I listen to some of these various podcasts and I read these different authors, and it's never get rich quick type junk. It's never guys that are, gambling on real estate, or I don't follow those guys. I don't care. What I care for is guys who have the same values as me. I want to make a great living for my family. I want to change the world while I'm at it. I want to leave the world a better place than I found it. In every way possible. I want to live a healthier lifestyle. I don't want to be overly indulgent and abusive. I want to live a life that's one of gratitude with my life, with my resources, investing in others, that type of thing. So when I see guys like that have taken risks, even if we have different belief systems, even if their language isn't what I would use, or even if they're doing a business that I know nothing about and would never even want to get into, I just have no interest in it whatsoever. It's like I want to learn how he thinks. I want to learn what made him brave. And when he was facing that huge fear, how did he overcome it? How did he push through it? So I think it's just kind of narrowing all that stuff down and looking to the core of a person and saying, is this the kind of person I want to invest in my life or not? Because even people, we have, whether they're family or people of the same faith or people of the same whatever, that doesn't give them the right to speak into your narrative. What I'm really looking for is, are they going, the depth of who they are as a human? Are they going the same direction? Are they trying the things? And if so, then I'll let you speak into my life and I'll listen to you.
So I'm dying to know, you've been learning for years now, just asking questions. What are the common themes and insights that you're hearing from those that you're asking questions from? What do you hear across all of these brilliant people you're talking to?
Trend-wise, it's really all about the same thing. It's that something sparks an idea. And it's usually, I think you even said this one time when we were chatting, it seems to be either in their mid-20s right after college, they've done a year or two of life and realized they hate it, or it seems to be right around 40 to 45 when they've done 20 years of life, and they've grown like we have. They've grown through some type of event. Sometimes it's just learning in a new world, and sometimes it's something, more cataclysmic, tragic, or just life-changing that happens to them that gets them thinking differently. A spark happens, and then it seems to be very much the same process. There's a period of disbelief, a period of doubt. Stephen Pressfield calls it the resistance. The resistance steps in and starts trying to quickly extinguish any flame that's starting to spark up. And then the other common theme seems to be then they begin to reach out to other people. They begin to read books, viciously and just absorbing it. They can't sleep at 3 a.m. and they record something. Suddenly you realize, I have something and I don't know what to do with it. I've got to learn from somebody. They learn from that, and it's kind of this, suddenly we're all speaking into each other's lives from different places around the planet, especially nowadays with technology. And then they launch. Rarely I don't know if I've ever, maybe because they don't make it to the podcast or the books, but you really don't hear a lot of the stories where he did all that and then it failed. You may hear, we came close for a few years. Our credit cards were maxed out and we were, donating blood to make money. And, I sold a kidney or whatever. And occasionally you hear that, but most of the time we pushed through, we endured, we struggled, and then we made it through. And now those people are now speaking into the narrative of another group, and it seems to be very much, we're always kind of investing in each other and being reinvested in. You realize that it really is a tribe of people that are in every field of industry, every field of work. Has nothing to do with what you do. It's how you think and how you see the world. Do you see opportunities, or do you run from opportunities?
So this incredible tribe of individuals who see opportunities in which, regardless of what industry or trade or phase of success, are just continuously investing in and being invested into each other.
Yeah.
That sounds awesome.